Dear students, with reference to Indian judiciary system, I have taught you power and functions of judiciary, the High Court and Supreme Court. So first one I would like to teach you. First one I have taught you original jurisdiction. Then I have taught you affiliate jurisdiction. After that I have taught you uh, advisory jurisdiction. In this video I'll teach you judicial review. What is judicial review? So please pay attention, very important. In only 2 points you can write, then your answer will be complete. Judicial review of Supreme Court and High Court I'll teach you. Dear students, I have taught you many times. Supreme Court is final interpreter of the Constitution, and High Court is also interpreter of the Constitution. Means High Court also explain the Constitution and Supreme Court will also. But Supreme Court is final. Means what explanation, interpretation has been done by Supreme Court, that is final. So you should keep in mind. And what is judicial review? Suppose any law, I am talking about judicial review of Supreme Court, then I will teach you judicial review of High Court. So judicial review of Supreme Court means any law has been made by any legislative assembly of the nation or any executive body, legislative or executive both, that altered the spirit of the Constitution, will be declared null and void or ultra vires by Supreme Court. What do you mean by this? Suppose any law has been made by Indian Parliament and that was against the spirit of the Constitution, then Supreme Court will declare null and void, means meaningless. It means Supreme Court having power to examine that respective law or executive order, both legislative assembly or executive body, both, discharge their duty according to the rules and regulation of the Constitution or not. If Supreme Court will get that against the spirit of the Constitution, any law and any executive order has been issued, then it will be declared null and void, means meaningless. I think clear? Okay. Some example I would like to mention. Supreme Court has power to review all national and state law and executive order and declare them null and void if they go against the provision of the Constitution. For example, in 1970, the Supreme Court had declared the following act of the Parliament as null and void. So, proof is there, going to teach you. Presidential order concerning recognition of the former princes, and second one, Banking Companies Act 1969 for the nationalization of the 14 banks. Similarly, in August 1999, the Supreme Court held that merit should be the sole criterion for admission to the postgraduate and other higher courses in medicine and engineering. So this law has been made by Parliament, declared null and void by Supreme Court. I think clear? So Supreme Court having enormous power, and by that only it is said that Supreme Court is the custodian of the Indian Constitution. Supreme Court is protector of the Constitution, and Supreme Court is guardian of the Constitution. 3 words are there. You should write this one. Supreme Court is a custodian of the Constitution, Supreme Court is a protector of the Constitution, and Supreme Court is guardian of the Constitution. That is clear? And that is over. Now going to teach you Judicial review of High Court. Dear students, I have taught you judicial review of Supreme Court. I am going to teach you judicial review of High Court. What do you mean by this one? Like Supreme Court, the High Court has power of judicial review. If any law or executive order or any ordinance passed by a state legislature or any other authority that alter the spirit of the constitution, means any controversial statement is there, law is there, order is there, or violation of the fundamental rights is there, okay, in that circumstances High Court can declare it null and void, like Supreme Court just I have taught you. So please pay attention, I am going to read this one. Like the Supreme Court, the High Court has power of judicial review of any law, executive order of any ordinance passed by the state legislature or any other authority that alter the spirit of the constitution. Then High Court can declare it null and void and ultra virus. The High Court may withdraw a constitutional cases from subordinate court and deal with it or send back with the direction. The 42nd Amendment Act 1976 introduced provisions where the power of High Court to judge the law, any law that has been made according to the spirit of the constitution, letter and spirit of the constitution or not. The High Court regain their power of considering the constitutional validity of any state law or executive order or ordinances. I think clear now. Going to explain again, then in easy way you will understand. Dear student, I have taught you judicial review of Supreme Court. In judicial review of Supreme Court, I have taught you, if any legislative assembly of the nation has made any law or any executive order or ordinance that alter the letter and spirit of the constitution, that will be declared null and void by Supreme Court. So Supreme Court jurisdiction is entire India, but we have near about 25 High Courts, and each and every High Courts having jurisdiction, meaning Allahabad High Court having jurisdiction within the UP, Patna High Court within the Bihar, okay, Madras High Court within that area, but Supreme Court jurisdiction will be entire India. So Supreme Court having enormous power, but High Court also having power. Suppose UP government made any law or declared any executive order, issued any executive order that altered the letter and spirit of the constitution, then same power High Court is also having. High Court will declare that law null and void or executive order or ordinance meaningless. Null and void means meaningless. Ultra virus means meaningless. Means that law that has been made by respective state assembly will be over now. Finish one. Okay. It means Supreme Court and High Court, both courts are having power to interpret the constitution, or any law has been made by legislative assembly of the state, then High Court having to check this one, and Supreme Court enormous. Supreme Court can check parliamentary law also, presidential ordinances also, and central government executive order also. So each and everybody will be checked, each and every things will be checked by Supreme Court. But High Court having a limitation. High Court can check respective state government legislative law and executive order and ordinances, means state level. So state level, so High Court will check, and in national level Supreme Court. Means Supreme Court having both power. Supreme Court can check state also and central also. So only this much, and next day dear I will come with another video. Thank you.